2024, Driving Business.
Thank you so much for staying tuned at Smart 24 TV. The discussion is still going on here concerning women in entrepreneurship and how we can unlock women's potential in doing business, but also in general life skills and getting ahead of gender equality and getting women involved actively in leadership, economics, and the social life. I'm with Mrs. Maureen Wagui and Mrs. Peace Kutesa. Both of these ladies here CEOs, they are founders of very big organizations, and they represent women's views in these organizations. Mrs. Maureen represents the Institute for Social Transformation. She's the current executive director, and Mrs. Peace represents Zimba Women, which is a social enterprise aimed at getting women involved in e-commerce, m-commerce, and getting ahead in business and SMEs. We've talked generally what should be done, especially by government, not just the politics and so on. Now we want to focus on the girl child at this moment, the girl child and the women that want to start business, that want to engage themselves in entrepreneurship. Mrs. Maureen, what would be, from your own experience, what would be some of the things that women in this era, in this day and age, should give focus on? Because, like she said, government has put in place affirmative action. It's actually not only to Makerere University, but to all public universities, where they added a 1.5. Personally, I remember I got the same points with a certain girl, and I didn't get government, and she got it because of the affirmative action. That's when I knew how important that 1.5 could actually be. So what should women have in mind? How should they prepare themselves for a world of business? How should they prepare their minds, even after going through some of the unfortunate things you've mentioned, like the broken families, cases of gender-based violence, and so many other things that could have traumatized them? How can they get to rise from the dust and pick up the remaining pieces?
Thank you. Thank you, Anthony. First of all, we have to appreciate life. That life has two angles. There is the negative and the positive, according to yin and yang. There are two sides of the coin. But you choose what to feed. If you want to choose to go and lament on the negative that has happened to you, then you choose that. But for me, I would say that whatever happens to you, whether negative or bad, there is always a lesson learned in it. So how do you gather yourself to move forward? So when it comes to the line of entrepreneurship, what exactly is your passion? What is that you're passionate about? Because most people fail to get to understand the things they love, the things that they can do to make money. Because I'll give an example. I'm this kind of person who loves fashion. I love smart people. I used to dress my former boss, by the way. I used to be like, be the designer.
That's very
And she used to tell me, Maureen, but you're good in this. Why don't you take it forward? But I had a skill for it. But I used to, but really. But it's something that you can wake me up and say, Momo, about these clothes, what do you say? And I'll really take you down and you'll be like, yes, this is it. So I had to say, okay, this is an area that I feel I'm good at. And I pushed it. Now I have my tailoring company. Because I love fashion, I love being smart, I love smart people around me. So I'm pushing that. So what is that you love?
I'm loving us today. I don't know.
I'm loving you guys.
I hope you represent.
Yes.
You guys are smart. I have to be sincere with you guys. You're really smart. So that drove me to that. So it's all about you knowing what you love and how can you make money out of it. We are talking about digital and all. They're calling it digital, as in digitalize everything.
Yeah, digital.
That we are using digital to market our products. And that's what I use. I'm using my platform to market my clothes, and my clients come through the phone, through WhatsApp, so I don't have to even bother. So how are we using this? That you look at your passion, bring it to table, and then position it. But who are those people you're going to move with, who are already doing what you want to do? Because we have to keep on learning from those who are already there. Do you need a mentor to move with you? If you need the capital, where are you going to get it from? And who is to support you? Lay down your plan. Because most people don't know. Just, I want to do something. I've seen Maureen is having my boutique. Maybe I should also open up a boutique. But that is not your area. That's not something you're interested in. Do the thing that you feel that even when somebody comes and wakes you up, Anthony, wake up. You will wake up and say, that is my thing. I'll go for it. So people are dying with creativity. People are not so creative. The innovation bit is really lacking. We are so lazy, like our president says. Ugandans are lazy. They don't want to work. We always want the easy way, you know. We go to China, bring things and we sell. But are we looking at building our industries here to make the things that the Chinese are making? How practical are we? So for me, it gets down and say, what exactly are we going to do to ensure that people can get to where they want to be? And for me, there is one thing, by the way, I'm encouraging to all employers, or the employers to be, whoever is coming to your organization, let them have the sales skills. Someone has the skills to sell is an achiever.
That's true.
Trust me. They will even bring cassava, boiled cassava, and sell it to you at 3,000. Yet they are selling it at 5,000 out there. So, selling skills, the communication skills, look at yourself, analyze yourself. Where are you weak? Yesterday I posted something on my status, like, and it was saying, where your fear is where your major task is. That the things we fear,
Afraid of,
you see, is where we should put too much emphasis to improve. I'm fearing to start my business. No, start. Start. So for me, those would be my words.
No, thank you so much. Thank you for those wonderful insights, Mrs. Mori. Mrs. Peace, in the same direction, what do you think would be the advice for women struggling to make a decision in terms of their career, in terms of whether or not to start a business, amidst the challenges we just talked about that the women especially face, given the cultural background they have, the families they're coming from? Because trust me, much as we said, you need all this support from family, from friends, usually it's not there. And in our culture today, trust me, we have lots of people coming from broken families, from very broken past lives, and they're struggling. Some of them have succeeded a little bit and got into business, but they still struggle with so many things that are haunting them from their past and from their upbringing. So how can they, moving forward, get to succeed in starting businesses, in starting careers, and being confident about themselves as women?
Okay, that's a good question. So at Zimba Women, when we are doing our trainings, the first day is actually a get to know you session. We ask the women, speak up, introduce yourself, say something nice about yourself and what you do and what really pushed you into the business. Now, it's just supposed to be an introduction, but usually it ends up in tears. You know, either people are not confident enough to just say your name, and most of the time you're like, Anthony, say your name loud enough and own your place, you know, and somebody breaks down in tears, you know, either because they never had a chance to speak in public and say their name and own their name and be proud of it, or maybe the story as to why they started their business is so traumatizing. Maybe, you know, my husband left me, so I had no choice, blah, like some story like that. Yeah. So the first sessions are usually, we're just really getting to know each other, hugging, crying, and all of that. But what has that showed me? It has showed me that a big part of supporting people, supporting women especially in starting their businesses, is mentality. A lot of times women's businesses not succeed, not because we don't have access to capital, digitalization is not enabled, and what? Because it's our mindset. We've lagged behind so long, and we've had not enough community structures around us to give us the strength and the resilience to do it. Now we've accepted that we are failures. So you start a business, but you know that, this year I'm going to sell cassava, next year I'll sell clothes. Like, there is no real plan of like, what's your 5-year plan? Do you want to eventually look at exporting? You know, when you start your business as a farmer, you should be looking at, like, in 5 years, in 10 years, I dream of exporting. I mean, dreaming is free. So why are you not allowing yourself to dream? So I'm encouraging anybody out there, when you're starting a business, dream big. Think about what you want out of this business, not just providing food for yourself, clothes for your children, paying school fees, but look at the future. How do I want to be remembered when it comes to this business? And it goes back to what my colleague was saying. When you identify a business that you think may be good at, either because of your strengths, either through education or the world has taught you, and then or through a passion, then that's the business you will focus on and succeed at. So one, I would advise somebody getting into a business, maybe identify your passion points, like she said, but also passion itself is not enough. Educate yourself in that business. There is resources online that you can learn from. If you don't have access to the internet, there are always different organizations, our organization, and other different organizations targeting women and girls. A lot of times you see a call, you share it with everybody, people please apply and go for this training, and the women don't apply. But if you don't educate yourself, it is our chance to come out of it. If you don't grab the resources that are being given to you for free, then you miss out. You miss out, and knowledge is very, very important when you're running a business. And in these classes, you get a chance to meet like-minded women who are running businesses which have been successful. These women you can learn from. So it's not just about showing up to a class and acquiring knowledge, but also networking, meeting people, opening yourself up, making friends. You know, friends give a lot of confidence. Women undermine the importance of our communities. Our communities give us a chance to thrive. The one thing that I have learned to appreciate about women friendships is that a lot of times we encourage each other. We compliment each other. I will say, you know what, Maureen, I love your dress. You know? And that alone is enough to lift your day. You may not hear it from your husband or your brother as you leave the house, but one of your friends will tell you, and that will give you confidence. So that when you're selling, you know what, today I am smart, I am selling mineral water. How do I sell mineral water? So at least you know that I don't have to worry about maybe how I look or how I present myself. Now it will be how I talk. But how have you learned how to talk? By going to a class where I have learned marketing. A lot of these classes are free, but a lot of our sisters are not going for these classes. They are staying behind and wallowing. Unfortunately, unless we get rid of that, we're not going to move ahead. Our businesses will not work. If you don't free your mind and open up yourself to learning, to networking, to getting out there and pushing, you will not make it. You know, success is not by accident. You have to claim it and you have to fight for it. Yeah, it is yours for the taking, but you have to own it. Yeah, you have to take advantage of the tools. Now we have digital. You may say, oh, I don't have transport to go to town, but data is 500. You can buy data for 500, put your products online. So teach yourself even the digital products. That's why I say education, learning. But a lot of times when you say education, people think, it must be like I must go to university, get a degree. No, education is information. How do I access the information that will make it easy for me to thrive as a human being? That's enough for you to thrive as a business person. When you're thriving, you succeed in the world. Unfortunately, you mentioned something about people from, difficult pasts, violent pasts, suffering life. Now, these people have a challenge. They're not taught to thrive in the world. They're taught to survive. Survive like what to eat tomorrow and all of that. You're not thriving, you're not flourishing, you're not shining, People have this joke of plant kids. Plant kids, they're happy, they're last bonds. Especially last bonds, they're the happiest because they have no problems. But what do we learn from last bonds? Live life with a zeal, own it because it is your place, you have it, it's not going anywhere until your space expires. Right. So while you're there, claim it. And that will be the attitude you take into your business and to succeed. Wow. And then maybe another thing I would say is research. Don't jump into a business because Peace is doing fish farming and it looks like she's working, let me do it. Have you thought about the fact that her grandfather could have given her the land for free? Or that maybe her land is in a swampy area where water is easy to find? Yeah? So we need to do our research. Let's stop copying trends. Because I see on social media people are doing this and that, so that's what I'm copying. No, do your research, which is really part of information, and don't rush. Take your time. You don't have to start right now. You could take the first months to just focus on education and learning and networking and all of those things. So I think for me that's the advice I would give people. Take advantage of the initiatives that may be are available to you. Join circles which allow you to save and acquire capital, because capital is also a big issue for women starting their businesses. you know. But when we pull our money together, we can say, as 5 friends, we can start a shop and sell, you know, fish and process our fish. Maybe next year we'll buy a boat or we'll buy a processor and move our fish to the market. And then next time we're now not just selling in Mukono, now we're able to bring our fish to Kampala ourselves without going through middlemen. So working in groups is also very important. Let's get rid of the mentality that I have to succeed by myself. Community success is actually a good thing for us because then you have less beggars. Yeah. So all those are very important. And as women, we need each other. We need each other much as we need the men. We also need each other, and we fight more. We have a better united front when we are working together. We know we pull our money together. Our small money, it does a lot. Yeah. So
when you talked about last bonds, you stepped on a few toes there, but I love the insights. What is coming out of the discussion is the passion, the sales, having those skills. But Ms. Kutesa, how can someone turn their passion into a business? Miss Maureen here says she does fashion, and she's always looking on point when you look at all her posts. And she's saying she has a tailoring company besides the business she's doing and the representations she's offering to women. But from your personal experience, without capital, because that is the thing that most women or even anyone who wants to start a business will actually come out to say, how can we turn our passions into business? When do you know that it's a passion? When do you know that it's just a fantasy? Because when I was growing up, I wanted to always be a pilot with Fly Emirates, you know. So I'm here at Smart 24 TV, but I'm just saying it's a passion. Sometimes can be confusing, you know. When do I know that? Okay, I have this passion, but I think I can start this business. And what are the right steps to take?
Yeah, I believe with passion you have to be intentional. Yeah. I may have a passion to be a dancer, but do I take dance classes? Am I interacting with dancers? Have I informed myself about the history of dance, the movements? Is my body flexible? Such things. So in wanting to follow your passion to start a business, you need to understand, okay, so I have a passion for art, but which art? Do I love general art, pictures? Do I love drawing? Or do I love this? So when you identify the exact place the exact type of art that you like, you may say, I like beautiful things, so maybe I can be an interior designer. But what are you doing? Are you trying to, with little capital, maybe I'll go to the market, buy maybe old curtains. There's that other material called, what's it called? Brocade, yeah? It's the material which they make curtains in. But brocade is trending. You know, people are wearing brocade. So maybe I'm unable to afford the brocade in the shops. So I'll go downtown to Owino, buy second-hand curtains because nobody else has that particular brocade that I've seen, and then tailor clothes through that. So I'm turning my passion into a business. Yeah, I mean there's different ways, but I'm also in doing that. But I'm also online. I'm teaching myself fashion trends. Maybe I'm not making clothes. Maybe I'm making bedspreads, or I'm making wall hangings out of cloth. So you have to be very, very intentional when you're turning your passion into a business. Otherwise, it can just, float away with it. You've seen these guys who are passionate about music, and then they keep following, the successful musicians. I'm following Chameleon, I'm doing what? I'm doing backup, and the guy does backup for 20 years. But when you actually have a conversation with this guy, he has not taken voice classes. Not only did he not have the talent, he has not taken voice classes, because anybody can sing if you take the voice classes. You will not be as good as the people with the talent, but you'll be close. And you learn other things you can do to distract your audience so they don't know your voice. You know singers. We all know singers who are not that good, but they do things on the stage and you actually forget that this person doesn't have a voice. So in following your passion, you have to be very, very intentional. What are you doing to grow your passion? How are you educating yourself in growing that passion? How are you networking with people who will help you with it? Because it's not just about, I'm following my passion, I want to be a pilot, and I be there thinking about it, like Anthony said. Did you go to flying school? Did you do math?
It's expensive.
No, because, there were scholarships, there were opportunities. How far did you go in pursuing that journey? Then you say that I failed, or that it was expensive. Did you actually go to Sorority and try doing just a certificate? And start from there so that you increase your flying hours so they can sponsor you for a diploma. You keep moving slowly by slowly. There is ways. There's ways to turn your passion into an actual tangible business. But you have to be very consistent and very intentional. Personally, I liked fixing things. That's how I ended up in IT. I liked computers. Well, I didn't know they were called computers back then, but I just liked tinkering with things because my father was an engineer, so we used to play with all sorts of toys. We had gender-neutral toys, not this friend of blah, 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 but gender-neutral toys. They were not like girls have to play with only dolls. We had cars, we had what? Because for a long time it was just my sister and I. There were no boys in the house, but we had cars, we had balls, we used to play football. So we were exposed to these things early enough. So I understood what I wanted from an early age. I knew I wanted to be an engineer of some sort or a doctor. Either fix people or fix machines. But it was fixing. Yeah. So that was my passion and I found my way along.
Wow, thank you so much, Mrs. Peace, there for those wonderful insights. We are going to take our very last break and we return with our final segment. And in this final segment, we want to address the women issues, challenges that are specific for women at the workplace. When we look at the statistics, the sexual harassment, challenges to do with unfair pay, unfair treatment of women, many efforts have been made to try to overcome this, they are still present, and we cannot underlook or undermine these challenges women are facing. What can women do in this space? Which policies should actually government put in place to fight against these? And how can women brace themselves for this kind of workforce that they are going into or that they are already actually in? Thank you so much for tuning in and stay tuned at Smart 24 TV. Remember, this is a business channel and we do bring you business live 24 hours, 7 days a week. This is the point. We talk policy and analyze discussions on different issues that are affecting women, men in business, and get to discuss some of the solutions. My name is Anthony. We are taking a very short break and we return shortly. Stay with us.
Smart 24, driving business.
He must be rich, tall, handsome, from a respectable family. He must have a maid because at our home we do not work.
Conductor Masao.
Obadde olobye ku simu.
Yamunange, anti yo TV enkolera.
Enjoy a new world of entertainment with over 80 TV and radio channels, plus movies from wherever you are. Download the Yo TV Channels app from your app store and enjoy 30 days of free streaming with MTN.
Yo TV Channels.
Say goodbye to paperwork and travel costs. Now every MTN customer can register to invest in securities anytime and anywhere with Zabu in a few simple steps. Step 1. Dial *292#. Step 2. Select option 1. Register with Zabu. Step 3. Enter your full names. Step 4. Enter your national identification number. Step 5. Enter your national identification card number. In 24 hours, you will receive an SMS confirming your registration. Congratulations, you are now ready to invest.